In the final plan, what is the ratio between open space and built-up area? If I remember it right, Hong Kong has 70% open space versus built-up area. Singapore is 45% urban forest. Do you have that ratio in your 50-year plan, 100-year plan, 25-year plan?
In per-urban new towns, we say over 6 square kilometers, we have built about 1.2 million square meters.
And also in the entire green system. And actually, we have 3 green area. Yeah, one is our Central Park. Yeah, that's along the axis. And also in the riverside. And we also have a huge green area. So you can see that that will be a very huge green area according to the requirement. Yeah, for 300,000 people, the per capita is 8 square meters for the green area. So this is on our master planning.
In your buildings, the floor plan areas, I have 2 questions. One is, what are the general systems of air conditioning that you're using in the buildings? And what amount of space are you requiring in terms of plant room, either floor by floor or every 10 floors or whatever? But what is the ratio of plant room space used to service the areas that are occupied by the workers?
We also have our E&M experts here, Vincent, right? But allow me to just say, for the AC system we use is an air handling unit. It's a centralized air handling unit. So if you look at the core, our typical office is about 3,600 square meters, and out of which the core area takes about 1,000 square meters. But I have to say that core is already servicing office, hotel, and the apartment. And also within that, majority of the space are going to the lift shafts. So the actual AC area that you are talking about, I would say, is about less than 100 square meters for AC specifically. And in terms of like the overall building, of course, we have a chiller plant room in the basement, and we also have the pre-treat air room, like the PHU, yeah, in the mechanical floor. We have the mechanical floor every 14 to 15 floors. I hope that answers your questions. But that mechanical floor is not all for the AC again. It's only a portion, I would say a quarter of the mechanical floor is for the AC. Yeah.
Okay. May I ask one more question?
Yes, sure.
Is the central plant then used to service the complete floor? And how would you then deal with multi-tenancy in each area?
Since we are not MEP engineer, may I ask Mr. Vincent Jie to give us a certain...
Well, I understand your question, because as you said, you are from UAT, you talk about underfloor, right? Because my name is Vincent Jie with the WSP Hong Kong, and we designed this whole building. I hope you enjoy the aircon here. You are the first tenant using this space. It's just operating a few days ago, okay? And then it's all VV system. So you want to have put partition in here. So every bay will have their own aircon, own return. And then we centralized return to the prime room here. And then in these, because this is what I call warm climbing area. Because in this area, the humidity is very high in summertime. It can be as high as 80%. And then I am not sure the workmanship of the curtain wall. Even KPF is an architect. UD can design, but they're not a contractor. If you have to make sure your curtain wall would not leak. If one you leak, and then you have an underfloor system,
No, I wasn't talking about on the floor.
yeah,
I was
so,
interested to know how you are handling a multi-tenancy on a one floor.
just like if we have one bay here and then they have a sensor in the ceiling. So if you want to be warm and then there will be more air and then it cool, there will be less air and this on. And then the whole floor divided into maybe every structural bay, one zone.
You know, I found it fascinating, the first presentation, which was there's a plan by Americans, there's a plan by the British, urban plans, there's a plan by a few, you know, kind of Guangzhou firms, and then, you know, and then we hear from KPF, and then Mr. Nee, you know, started this, well, I worked with Murphy Yarn and I tweaked this, and then I worked with Wilkinson Air and I tweaked this. And by the way, Chris Wilkinson's in the audience, so I'm sure he'll have something to say about that afterwards. And now we see Scott designing this big tower here. And my slightly naughty question is, clearly, 10 years ago, Western architects were designing all these tall buildings, and now Scott, Ikadi, Tongji are all doing their own 60, 70, 80-story buildings. Will we see a time where all the tall buildings in China are designed by Chinese architects, and if so, when? and do you think it would be a good thing?
Well, yeah, it's really hard, yeah, to estimate. Well, in this case, yeah, maybe, yeah, I want to respond to your question. Yeah, of course, the Chinese architects and the planners are growing very rapidly. I still remember that for my first project, I worked with a Japanese firm. Yeah, that is the Guangzhou Convention Center in Pazhou area. At that time, yeah, we worked with the Japanese firm. And then, of course, we worked with some other foreign companies, and also for the West Tower and also some other projects together. Yeah, because for each architect, yeah, we have learned a lot from our counterparts. I think that's very interesting because for Chinese design teams, yeah, they will work with many partners. And for foreign companies, it's very interesting. You don't work with each other very much. Yeah, I know foreign companies a lot, but foreign companies, they don't really know each other or work with each other so much. So yeah, actually, yeah, we have a lot of ideas for foreign counterparts. Yeah, they think that we have some great ideas. They are also wondering how we come up with these ideas. We have so many partners, and I still remember that for the elevator rescue system, yeah, because in the West and Tower, yeah, you know that sometimes it's very difficult to open to rescue people. And Arna has a new idea, yeah, because between elevators, they can open a door and build a bridge. From this elevator, in case of an accident, and then they can use a bridge, yeah, from one elevator to another one. So we have gained a lot of new ideas from our counterparties. And going forward, a lot of foreign designers can also be enlightened by some of our ideas, because we have been working with so many partners. So that's why we have also gained a lot of experience, but we are still growing. Well, for Chinese architects, yeah, maybe before 2000, we don't know how to fight the war. But now, after so many wars, we are still surviving. So we are very skillful at fighting right now. This is my first point. Second, yeah, from the urban perspective, and also for our planners, and also for Chinese governments. Yeah, because we were always backward. So they always think that it is always good in foreign countries. They think everything is good in foreign countries. So we feel, yeah, also in dilemma, yeah, because even Chinese communism and Marxism, they come from Germany. Maybe you don't know Marx. Yeah, Marxism also comes from Germany because for Chinese communism originates from the German philosophy. So yeah, so it seems that a lot of people or the governments or the leaders only believe in the foreign ideas. Some people, they adore foreign things. It also demonstrates that some leaders, they are lack of confidence. And self-awareness, self-recognition is still pretty low. However, with the Chinese economic growth, step by step, China started to recognize our own culture. And also in terms of the interpretation, understanding of Chinese culture, of course, we should be better than foreign counterparties. So for some Chinese authorities, for some Chinese leaders, they are also changing their mindset. Well, I think going forward, step by step, maybe more and more Chinese architects will engage in some important projects. Yeah, maybe I can add a little bit more. Well, first of all, we need to have a good positioning. Yeah, China is still a developing country. And in 1990s, and we started engage ourselves into the world community, and very rapidly, and we are integrating ourselves and into the entire world, and we're also changing our culture. Yeah, because in the area of globalization, we have to resort to other resources at the very beginning. But now, if Chinese and architects want to play our own role in the global stage, like this Pearl River New Town, for example, well, you can see that now, it is already world famous. Actually, we have the same taste or caliber. So in the new media area, and now we are already in the global stage, and we are also one of the members of the entire world community. Yeah, in the past, and actually, the Chinese people have to rely on the American or some foreign and ideas. And also for our Sanyang University and also Peking University, and also for us, I don't think that we can continue to be like this. I believe that for my generation or for the next generation, because they watch the Disney, and in the end, actually they can go beyond Disney. I think once they can go beyond Disney, then they will be more confident. Then we will see more and more Chinese and architects. I think it will be very quick.
I think I being a Chinese and working for an American company, I kind of like seeing the both sides and the situations. And I agree with the two speakers. I think it's a matter of time because we are in China, we're trying to catch up. And certainly there's a lot of knowledge and experience that has been inherited from the history of tall building through like in the 19th century and until now. And I think the Chinese architects are all like catching up very well. But I think but for a piece of architecture to be successful, in addition to just having a great design, which I think is relatively more easy to copy or to imitate, but more important is what I'm seeing, at least like from my company point of view, we also care very much, we care as much about the design as about the execution. And I think that is something that the Chinese industry, construction industry also needs to catch up, and also the Chinese architects also need to catch up, is the attention that you're not just carrying to the point of the renderings, but also to the way that down to the very last detail that you execute in the building. Because I see a lot of example in which it was a great ideas on the paper, but when it comes to execution, it also becomes a little of a disappointment. And I think it's not just the architect, but also the construction industry, and also the client also needs to play a role in making a piece of architecture good and great.
Yeah, maybe one thing more. Well, I think for Chinese architects, they are very keen. They have the desire to change the society. Well, in many cases, when I communicate with another architects, I think this is a very important characteristics. Because, of course, we still have some distance from the foreign architects over the past 1 to 2 decades. We have already shortened the gap around our university and for our design academy. A lot of people, they are visiting foreign countries, they study abroad, then they return to China. Yeah, take me for example. And actually, yeah, 6 years ago, yeah, I was a visiting scholar at Harvard University. So actually, for us, for Chinese architects, we really want to learn and communicate and work on more projects in order to improve ourselves, yeah, to widen our horizon, our vision. Well, I think, yeah, generally speaking, I think, yeah, we have seen a very good trajectory and a lot of yeah, talents coming back. And also, yeah, we are working together. And we are also gaining more and more experience. Yeah, I believe that this is a great prospect for Chinese architects.
How would the three speakers see the area developing over the next 20 years? What would it look like in 20 years from now?
You know, the urbanization in China is rapid progression. In 1978, there was only 19%, less than 20% urbanized. Nowadays, it's 56% population living in cities. Urbanization was in full swing in China. In another 20 years, there will be the end of urbanization in China. We won't see the market in China anymore. There won't be any more demand. So this is a big challenge for architects. So the next 20 years, you have to grab with great projects and great architects like Mr. Ni. The time is pulling to an end. Now, because when urbanization reaches 70%, that will be the end of it. So you see, the infrastructure development is accelerating. Many international companies are pulling out of China because the business is getting smaller and smaller. So this is the last stretch. We are really compressing what the West is taking 100 years into 20 years. So we have to leverage on international manpower or human resources to make it happen.